Back in history, most societies had strictly distinguished social classes and status. It was evident that people in higher social classes had much more power and privileges than people in low social classes. Surprisingly, it had not been changed. There are no rules or laws that distinguish social classes. However, socioeconomic status does exist. You might wonder what effect socioeconomic status have on education. It's evident to see that effect on South Korea's current educational system. Education was always a privilege that was allowed to those who were born in noble family throughout the history. During the first dynasty, Gojoseon dynasty, institutions and educational systems were not systematically developed. Much of the emphasis was on learning to maintain and respect the social order, structure, ethics, human rights, and social class differences. After the Gojoseon dynasty came three kingdom eras. All three kingdoms, 고구려, 백제, 신라, had established systematic educational curriculums and institutions. Of all three kingdoms, Shilla was most well-organized educational system called Hwarangdo, also known as the Way of Flower Knights, to train young men for beauty and strength of mind and body with the eventual objective of national defense. However, all of these programs and institutions were only allowed for those from royal and aristocratic families. During the late Joseon era, also the last kingdom of Korea, the first public school called the Garden of Youth Education was established in 1883. King Gojong authorized in the Royal Decree of 1895 the establishment of other state-run modern and vocational schools. However, the government role was still not available for those from lower social classes. This conservative idea continues until the independence from Japan on August 15, 1945, and accept liberal democracy as a new government system. However, Korea was artificially divided soon after the liberation, and on June 25, 1950, the Korean War occurred. When it was ended in 1953, 80% of the country was destroyed, including the schools. To recover from the destruction of war, our great-grandfathers and great-grandmothers were sent to Germany and other countries to earn foreign currency, which was used to reconstruct the country and educate their children. Because Korea had adopted liberal democracy, everyone had equal chance of succeeding in their academic and life career until the 1990s, when Korea's national income raised remarkably, which people called the miracle of the Han River. Once the economy became stable, parents decided to invest more on their children's education to be ahead of other children, leading them to have extremely high expectancy for their children's academic career. They began to hire tutors to educate their children outside of the public school system, and otherwise known as hagwon, after-school institutions that provide intensive tutoring of all subjects. These schools started to establish. As a result, supplementary and after-school education markets have developed over the years. In recent days, academic competition in South Korea is fiercer than almost anywhere in the world, and supplementary education, which was not necessary in the past, became the necessity to achieve students' goals to gain admissions from top colleges. The annual market income for supplementary education industry is over $60 million, meaning that 7 out of 10 students are attending hagwon. However, government is financially short to support these supplementary educations, therefore parents have to take all the costs, which is very expensive, meaning that students from low socioeconomic backgrounds cannot be supported with these extra courses, thereby falling behind and losing chances to receive admissions from top colleges. It is evident from data that 97% of students who receive high scores in college entrance exams were from mid to high socioeconomic families, where they were supported students with supplementary education. The government had realized the problem and applied systems that enforced top colleges to give 2.7% to 3.5% of admissions to students from rural areas and low socioeconomic backgrounds who are not able to receive the same benefits from others. The problem does not end here. Students who are supported move ahead of students from low socioeconomic families, even in and after college. They receive supplementary education for TOEFL, TOEIC, and other degrees that are needed to get a job. Therefore, the only thing that students from low socioeconomic backgrounds can do is simply labor or tutor students. It is a critical problem of South Korean education system, and the government must come up with a solution to provide all students with equal education.